Hope you're ready for this.
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a boot? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
Uh-oh.
We lost Bacon.
No.
Didn't take long. Apparently, he's not paying for his Skype. Well, hopefully, he'll get that sorted out very soon. There's Bacon. He's back. Hello, everybody.
Sorry. Why am I touching buttons on Skype right before a show? That's just
Bacon
That
is
was me,
trolling the Nexus Trolls. Anyways, everybody, hello and welcome to the 50th episode of the Nexus Trolls, a podcast all about Heroes of the Storm, part of the Trolls.gg podcasting network. I'm your host, Linus Dazkilius, and I'm joined, as always, by LiQuiuD and Mystic. How's it going, boys?
Great. It's a good day to be a podcaster.
And we've got two very familiar faces below me if you're watching the VOD, but if you're not, or trust me, they're there. We got Bahgz, regular host of Trollin HGC with LiQuiuD. Bahgz, welcome back to the show, bud.
Hey, man, what's going on? It's been a while.
I know, it's been too long since we've had you on the show, too. I feel like now that you're part of the Trolls.gg network, we got to get you on here more often, especially whenever like LiQuiuD or Mystic tend to dodge out, like they have like last few weeks there. So I should give you a call to sub in.
There you go.
And we've also got Bacon, another regular on Trollin HGC. We've had him on the show in the past, member of the GankBush Squad podcast as well. Bacon, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, Trolls family?
Pretty good. One of the real reasons, I'll be honest with you, one of the real reasons, Bacon, we wanted to get on the show today is because you had a little Twitter spat with Mystic last week. You want to tell us about that? What were you calling out our boy?
Right. So we were having a discussion a podcast or two ago, and somehow Mystic's name came up, and we, the GankBush Squad, challenged Mystic to go to Hero League and get Masters. Now, you guys are touting him as the best player on the podcast, which he is, but you always say he's a master level player. But technically, he's never been Masters. He's always placed Diamond 3 and let his ranking stagnate. So,
Wait, I have to ask you a question. I'm going to interrupt you. Mystic, have you even done your placements yet this season?
Yes, because I accepted this little challenge of Bacon's, and just so I have all my bases covered, I'm pretty busy, so it might take me a while, and here and there. Well, yeah, I completed my placements, ended up in Plat 2, but
Ooh, that's gonna be a grind,
what?
sir. All
What
right.
happened?
That's all right. We got faith in you to climb back up. That's quite the climb, sir. I'm not far off from platinum.
I need
myself.
some time.
Well, now the problem is now you've accepted the challenge. You gotta buck up and man up to it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not backing down. I have the whole season, I think.
Maybe we should start calling you a platinum type player.
Yeah, there you go.
Platinum
Time
pleb.
to grind, man. Time to grind.
Yeah, time to grind.
So we got a lot of cool stuff on the show today for our 50th episode. I've got a special segment that only I know about. These guys, especially LiQuiuD, I think is extraordinarily nervous about it because I keep bugging him about it.
The last time you surprised me with something, I had to debate Cavalier Guest.
Yeah, and you won though. So hey, you came up to the challenge. You stepped up the plate, and you took over that one nicely. But we'll be doing that after the news segment. Bacon can only make it for about half the show because he's got a podcast he's got to do after this. What's this podcast you're involved with there, Bacon?
It's called the GameBush Squad podcast, where a bunch of buttheads talk about Heroes of the Storm and the latest news.
That's the TLDR, is it?
Yeah, but it's the same spiel that I've done 100 times. But this episode is a little bit different because we have Heroes Hearst BBJ on the show, the support player for the newly HGC-ified team, I guess.
You have a Heroes Hearth player on tonight?
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Do you?
We also have one on tonight. Ishbu will be on Trollin HGC after this.
Bahgz looks
Hello?
pretty excited for both.
Bahgz
Wow.
is doing the real work here. Let's just keep that clear.
Yeah, so either way, we can't keep Bacon too long because this show actually starts, just as ours is ending. So we're gonna make sure we get him through the special segment. He'll have to take off, and we'll continue the show as a 4-man.
I just want to butt in here real quick. So a couple days ago, I messaged the Heroes Hearth manager and said, "Hey, would any of the players be interested in guesting on Trolling HGC now that you're members of the HGC?" And he replied back this morning that they were all pretty busy. But it turns out we've got podcast pirates guesting on the show tonight.
Right? He stole our people.
All right.
That's all right. That's all right.
You know what? I grabbed BBJ literally 4 minutes after he won. I asked him to be on the podcast. So you can't get any faster than that, bro. You can't cut through my access.
That's pretty
man.
fast, man. That's pretty fast.
But
I will say
he's on my friends list. That's why.
this actually works out really well though because we have Ishbu and we have Lobber, so we have 2 warrior players.
Yeah, that's
So
gonna
it's
be
like
great.
it's gonna be awesome, right? Like we have it's not a mix. It's not a warrior and a support or a warrior and a flex. It's like 2 warriors, and we can have warrior discussions tonight. So
Look at
It
these
works out well
name
because
droppers.
I'm a support main. BBJ is a support. Scott, the second best player on their podcast, is also a support main. Fringe is also a support. So
there you go.
Robin of Loxley in chat says Bacon professional name dropper. Bro, LiQuiuD asked me about it, so of course I'm gonna say it.
But you do take every
What a
opportunity
troll.
to drop
Oh,
names.
there's definitely
Oh,
opportunity.
he's on my friends list. That wasn't necessary, but thanks for that, Bacon.
He's my buddy. I can talk to him anytime I want, but I don't because I don't want to bug him and then make him remove me.
There you go. That's smart. That's thinking.
So we're getting derailed quickly. I guess that's what happens when you stuff 5 people on a podcast, which Bacon probably knows about because of GankBush Squad regularly has 5, if not more, people on it. You might have a few more dick jokes there than over here, but still, I like that. I like that.
I don't know. We don't know what your surprise is going to be.
That's
That's
true.
a good point.
Well, I'll give you a little hint. It's not a dick joke. I apologize.
Okay. Is it hairy and blurry?
No.
Probably not.
No,
Okay.
it is a good time though, and you guys will see shortly. Before we start the show, though, I want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/trollsgg. If you're looking for a way to support the show, you can do so over there. Any bit helps, and we much appreciate it. The show is always going to be free, but if you're looking for a way to support us, you can do so there. And we've got a troll of the week this week. I played some games with him. I'm assuming it's a him yesterday, and I think last week as well. Schizophrenic. Great Medivh player. He carried us as Li Ming as well. Thanks for being a fan of both shows, Troll and HGC as well as the Nexus Trolls. You are our troll of the week.
Ironically, he's not in chat right now.
That's okay. I'm sure he'll catch it. He seems to catch most of the episodes, so he'll get his shout out there. But that being said, it's time to move into the news.
Someday, this will make a great story.
So, breaking news. I looked at Reddit very recently, scrolling down, and look who is number 3 spot trending on the Heroes subreddit. I saw a little Bacon there, except I think there's a little typo in his name. Bacon. You want to tell us about that, Bacon? Because I think that's your post, right?
Yes. Bacon with a O, obviously taken. Probably the first day that Reddit was online, so I had to do with the second best. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I had the idea to do a video series where it's not an original idea. Other games do it, and other people have actually done it in the hero scene before, but they've all stopped years ago. So I thought I'd pick it up, and it's called GankBush Presents Myths in the Nexus. And basically what it is, we take myths or ideas or questions about mechanics in the game, test them out, and then present them in a nice little fun format with good music. Keep it tight, around 5 minutes, in and out.
And
That way it's entertaining and it's educational.
Yeah, for the first episode, it's really well produced too. I was very impressed. So, I mean, I can see why it's one of the top posts on Reddit today. We will have the link in the show notes for anyone who wants to check that out, or you can just pop over to Reddit and look for GankBush Presents Myths in the Nexus. And it's not hard to find.
Thank you. Thank you for the plug.
Oh, no problem. We do plugs well here.
Video plugs, excellent.
If you need anything else to plug, Bacon, just let us know.
Oh yes, actually, BBJ is going to be on the GankBush Squad podcast.
Did he mention he's on his friends list?
Yeah,
He did.
he's on my friends.
I think he did.
Oh no.
So LiQuid, next piece of news too. The Battle.net launcher actually has a beta mode now that you can go into the settings.
Nice.
You can launch it in beta form. It'll download a new launcher for you, but it has some new social features, which we've already started taking advantage of. You want to tell us about that, LiQuid?
Yeah, so there's definitely a Battle.net beta going on right now for the client. Go download it. There's a lot of cool things. Even if you don't plan on utilizing all of them, there's a lot of new social features. My personal favorite that has been asked for probably years in Battle.net is I want to appear offline so that I can ignore friends and do what I want to do. But we've already set up a Trolls GG group. I'm just tweaking a couple more things, and then we'll probably put a link on our website, something like trolls.gg/bnet or something simple, so you guys can just join us that way. But you can join and have a group chat, and it's very similar to Discord. It almost looks like Blizzard said, okay, you know what it's time for us to do is create this kind of merging of Discord and Battle.net, and this will help us drive voice chat into games like Heroes of the Storm. Like it very much feels that way. So I think that's really the direction they're going. But it's pretty cool, and yeah, we'll have a link to join our group shortly on the website, probably early next week, if not by the weekend.
Yeah, very much a Discord feel to it, and it'll be interesting to see how that takes off if it does displace Discord at all. We had an in-development video, too, because we've got a Hallows End event coming up with Junkrat, as well as a whole bunch of skins. Greymane's got a pretty damn cool skin, too. You guys see the Dr. Wolfenstein?
Best skin in the bunch. Although Creepy Chromie and the Shambler Murky were close seconds, in my opinion.
How much of a cop-out was Bewitching Brightwing, though? Putting a little hat on Brightwing? That's,
you know what was worse to me? The Cho'Gall. Like,
pumpkin?
literally all they
Yeah.
did was put the pumpkin on his head, and they were like, that's cool, we're calling it here.
Someone on Twitter, I forget who, like did like a fan art version of the Chromie, or not the Chromie, the Brightwing skin, where they actually like put a costume on her and like changed some of her abilities and stuff, and like it was legit. Like that's what it should have been. Unfortunately, that's not what we got.
I feel like they ran out of time. They're like, we need some more skins for this event. What can we do?
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean-
just change that. Good enough, go.
It's an okay skin. It better be rare though. If it's epic or legendary,
Oh,
that's
God.
that's a
That feels
highway
bad.
robbery.
You get that legendary loot chest opening up, and you see Bewitching Brightwing's third tint. Ouch.
Speaking of loot chests, actually, this is important because we're about to cover that the Hollow's End event starts October 17th, and then all chests from then will be Hollow's End chests, which will guarantee an item per chest. But a week before that happens, Twitch just turned on the additional 5 loot chests that you can get. Do not add those chests to your account until after the 17th because they will not convert to Hollow's End event chests. So if you can wait the 6 days, as soon as you know Hollow's End has started because you log into the game and you see the cool, pretty little Hollow's End graphics in the quest, then add your Twitch chests to your account so that you get extra chances at the event items.
Assuming you really, really want Bewitching Brightwing.
Well, I mean, even if you don't want Bewitching Brightwing, there's probably something else that you would prefer to get.
By the way, after reading it off the screen here, the Dr. Wolfenstein, I just put together the Wolfenstein
The
reference. too.
Wolfenstein? Well, you know, and it's the 20th or 25th anniversary of the game. Plus, they're looking at releasing a new one.
Yeah, that was a great game. I remember playing that in grade school. Sorry, Mystic and Bacon, I don't think you guys were born yet. When that came
Rob.
us old uns over here playing the original Wolfenstein on our
Yeah, the new one comes out at
386
the end of this month.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So we also BlizzCon loot was announced recently. We got the link for it in the show notes too. If you're in the PTR, you'll see that all that stuff pop up there. You can get in the PTR already. There's the Nexus Razorback mount, BlizzCon banner, cartoon Nexus Razorback spray, and the BlizzCon 2017 portrait along with the banner. What do you guys think about? Have you seen it yet? I always feel like it's a bit of a cop out mount that you always end up getting for like these BlizzCon events and such.
it's not. It's a lame mount. I'm not
Yeah.
happy with it.
You're not
I
gonna
do
ride
like
that home?
I do like the portrait and the banner. Those are okay because I hate the banner choices I have right now. So at least I like the banner. I don't know. I'm not gonna ride the Razorback. I'll have it.
You probably have like every HGC team banner though right now, don't you?
No, I only bought the ones that I actually wanted to. Actually, I stopped at the spray. Because I just wanted the spray. I just don't like banners. I don't know what it is. In fact, someone on Reddit posted a thread about how banners just feel kind of useless and annoying, and why just stop?
Clutter.
Right, and I actually agree with that. I dislike the banners. I like portraits. I like the sprays. I dislike the banners.
They pop up on the MVP screen now though, so there's at least that now, right?
Yeah, that's true, but I still don't like it.
All right, well, fair enough. We
We
also
also that BlizzCon spray.
Yes.
Looks like a little bacon.
Oh, Jesus. He
Little
keeps
robot
going, man. He
bacon.
keeps going.
that's
I
Bacon's
do wanna-
influence.
Throw something else out there since we're talking about BlizzCon loot. The real BlizzCon, like the real products in the BlizzCon gear store, are available to purchase if you're going to BlizzCon right now. So if you're going to BlizzCon, definitely check that stuff out too and order early in case you want something specific and you don't want to miss out on it.
We also had a PTR patch drop along with an actual live patch today too. Because we've got so much going on the show today, we're not going to cover the PTR patch in detail. We're going to cover the live patch later on in the show if we have time. Fingers crossed. There weren't a ton of major reworks in there. There's a lot of little tweaks here and there, so it should be pretty fast to go over. But on the PTR, there are a couple things I want to get your guys' opinions on, specifically the Muradin rework and the Zul'jin rework. Just some first impressions and thoughts. Mystic, have you had a chance to play Zul'jin?
Here and there is mostly Junkrat, exciting new hero.
Has anyone had a chance to play Zul'jin? Hands, anybody?
I've only
Sorry.
had time to play Muradin
Oh, no.
so far.
I played one game, so I guess it's good we only have first impressions here that day. So anyways, I'll just quickly say what has changed with Zul'jin. He's got a new baseline quest where basically he can attack other heroes. Once he reaches a certain threshold, it'll actually increase his attack range. And once he reaches the section threshold, he gets 2 spins of his cleave, which is pretty cool. I mean, he's got obviously some changes to his basic damage output and stuff to accommodate to compensate for this. But there's also another talent in the talent tree too, where if you participate in 5 takedowns of 5 unique heroes, you also get another 1.1 addition to your attack range. So you get your attack range up to I think 7.7, which feels really
What?
good as
Yeah.
Zul'jin.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
how
being able
long
to
it goes.
attack have the longest attack range in the game, essentially, right? Auto attack range is a pretty nice feeling, especially his Zul'jin.
Damn.
Yeah, a lot of other little changes too, like some notable things. Forest Medicine, where you can move while regenerating health, that's been moved to level 20. But Zul'jin, he feels really good, especially with these stacking quests. Like if you can do well, I mean, I was only in the PTR, and I don't often do well in the PTR with new heroes, but I was actually doing really, really well with damage with Zul'jin. So it feels like he's a lot stronger than before, which is, I guess, saying something too.
He's definitely gotten stronger.
Yeah, so we'll see how he drops when he gets in the next. But we'll talk about it in more detail next week for sure.
Robin
the-
of Loxley, the change to Zul'jin will be live. Everything will be live except for Junkrat. And Junkrat will technically be live. He just won't be available.
What are you talking about? It's next week, right?
In chat. HGC
Oh,
finals.
HGC. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought you were talking about live in game. These should all
Oh,
drop next week along with Junkrat.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But LiQuiud, I do know you played some Muradin. So you want to tell us about the Muradin rework at all?
So much fun. Oh my god.
Wow, that good, eh?
It's going to be interesting to see. In fact, that's one of the questions I want to ask tonight. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening to people, but it's definitely a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of fun. I had a blast playing him. The interesting thing is there's a couple ways you can play him now. But you definitely do more damage as a tank than you used to, which is kind of cool. So I have enjoyed playing new Muradin.
So what are the big changes with them that make him different than before?
Mostly it was just they moved talents around and made some stuff baseline to really affect his talent build so that you could have higher damage in the baseline than you do now. primarily. So it definitely was worthwhile. We definitely need to dig into him next week because I think there'll be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those queue times in the PTR are extraordinarily long too. I actually queued up as Junkrat today. I did it in the morning while at work, and the queue is I think 3 hours or so, and I didn't even notice it. I missed the whole game. I got like I had to like disconnect everything for AFK, and I come back. I'm like, oh no, I missed it after all that, just because like sitting there in the background.
Oh my.
But yeah, it's a long haul if you want to sit there in the PTR. But we'll do the grind before next week's show and make sure we can do a little bit of a deep dive in there. But that being said, we didn't want to go too into detail on these heroes because we've got a lot of special stuff we want to do today. And there's one segment, the special segment I mentioned before, that I want to throw it right now so we make sure that we get it in before Bacon has to leave. I know LiQuiud's nervous. I can see him like sweating buckets already. So, guys, are you ready for this?
No, but okay, let's do it.
Because it's time for the feud! Oh my gosh. Okay, so I spent some time. Hopefully this goes well for the audio listeners too.
Oh my god, this is great.
We are gonna have a little family feud action here in the Nexus Trolls, the Trolls Feud. It's a special segment where we did here. I don't think I have to explain the rules for Family Feud. I'm assuming most people have seen it before. But basically, we're going to be asking questions. I've got 3 rounds of questions that we're going to be throwing to our teams or our families here. And the teams that get the most points at the end get to go to the fast money round. Again, you can probably pick up on the rules as we go if you haven't seen Family Feud before. But I would like to introduce to you our LiQuiud family. That's LiQuiud and Bahgz here on my right. And they're going to be taking on the Mystic family, Mystic and Bacon. So, boys, what we're going to do to start this off, we have a face-off. So what we're going to do is the heads of the families, LiQuiud and Mystic, are going to face off. I'm going to ask a question. You've got to buzz in. So because we don't have any virtual buzzers, you actually have to type the word buzz in Twitch chat. And when you do that...
What is this?
I know, very high tech, right? You can. I'll let you know if you got it in time, and you can answer the question. So the first question, we've got top 8 answers on the board of 100 people surveyed. The question is, who is your most anticipated hero? That goes to LiQuiud.
Deathwing.
Deathwing. Okay, let's check the board here.
Oh. Are we talking anticipated hero not released?
Well, hey, this is the poll question here. 100 people surveyed. What? The question is, who is your most anticipated hero? Do I see Deathwing? Survey says yes! That's the number 1 answer. Deathwing, 25 points. Okay, so that's 25 points in the bank. By the way, guys, so that means that LiQuiud's family has control of the board. So LiQuiud and Bahgz have control of the board. They have up to 3 wrong answers, 3 strikes. If they get 3 strikes, it actually swaps over for the steal to the Mystic family. So we're going to be swapping back and forth between Bahgz and LiQuiud here. Let's see if Bahgz has a great answer. So Bahgz, of 100 people surveyed, who is their most anticipated hero?
We mentioned this on Twitter earlier in the week. I'm going with Reinhardt.
Reinhardt.
Good answer.
I like LiQuiud's getting into it too. Okay, survey says. Ooh, rough one. I knew if you didn't say it, LiQuiud was gonna say it. I was actually surprised it wasn't up here too. So first strike for the LiQuid team. So LiQuid, back to you, bud. Who is the most anticipated hero?
Kel'Thuzad.
He's already.
You gotta go through with it.
This poll was like a week ago, dude.
Oh, okay.
So survey says
no. Just kidding. Yeah, I answered. You got it. You can buzz me out.
So it can't be any of the heroes that have already been released, obviously, but none of the heroes that are on the PTR as well, or
it's whatever the survey says. Anyhow.
Okay. Well.
Let's see, Kel'Thuzad.
That's gonna be an
That's 2 strikes. Okay, cool. Bahgz. You've got another 7 answers on the board, but only 1 strike remaining. Can you clear the board here, starting with the next answer? What's your guess here?
Grom Hellscream.
Ooh, I like it.
Grom Hellscream. Okay,
like it.
good answer. Good answer. What does survey say?
Oh,
I'm surprised,
really?
actually.
This
No
is
Grom?
right for the taking. This is
Yeah.
actually Guel's Heroes on Reddit. Okay, don't Google it now, guys, because
Wait,
that'd
no,
be cheating.
you can't. You gotta ask. These two have to try to steal.
Oh, don't worry.
You
They're
can't-
gonna try and see. I'm just giving a little credit where credit's due. This is actually
Alright.
from a survey, so this is done from Guel's Hero on Reddit. I did have to modify because it was just a percentage-based thing, but I modified it to make it more Family Feud friendly. Okay, so we're going over for the steal. Now, the way the steals work, too, you guys get to confer, right? So I'll go down the line and see what you guys say, and then Mystic actually has to come up with the final response. So not locking in, and obviously Bacon. What do you think?
I just had one. Oh my gosh. Alex Straza.
Hey, all you guys have to do is get one. You steal the bank. So what do you
That's what I think.
what do you think, Mystic? You can go with Bacon. Or you gonna go on your
Yeah,
own?
Yeah. I'll give Bacon the first one.
Okay, we've got Alex Straza. Do they steal? Survey says Alex Straza's number
Oh,
3.
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
let's
So-
see the rest of the top.
Yeah, that's 37 points that will be going over to Mystic's team's bank.
Nice job, Bacon.
Yeah, good
Thank
job.
you.
I'm actually surprised that you guys didn't get more of these. Some of them are kind of tough. I'll reveal the answer. So let's take a look here. Number 2 is Mephisto.
Okay.
Now, answer number
Ah.
4 is Firebat.
Okay,
Five.
Firebat. I had Firebat.
Phoenix. You gotta be like in the real Family Feud. They're like, Phoenix. You know. Number 6, Imperious.
Oh,
Mystic.
I was about to
Imperious.
guess. I
What?
was about to guess that
Yeah.
actually. If Bacon didn't come up with one, I was gonna guess that.
That was
one.
what your go-to was. All right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what my go-to was.
7 is Prophet Velen. And number 8, this one's for LiQuiud, Maiev Shadow Song.
Wait, how is Deckard Cain and wait, what? How is that not there?
You gotta talk to the
Where's
people
Andu?
surveyed. I don't
Where's
modify the
Andu?
results.
And win 2, right? And win 2.
Yeah.
I don't
What's up,
modify the
guys?
results.
Hey, we don't need more healers in the double support meta, okay?
Okay, we're back to a face-off for our second question. We've got Bahgz and Bacon. Remember, guys, you gotta put buzz into the Twitch chat to see who gets it here. So the second question, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Who was the highest win rate hero in Hero League 3 months ago? That goes to Bahgz. Who is it, Bahgz?
I'm gonna go with the Lost Vikings. I don't follow Hotslog close enough.
Let's see
Oh,
the Lost
no.
I don't think
Vikings.
so. 3 months ago? No.
Okay.
Ah!
Sorry, Bahgz. Okay, that's a freebie for Bacon. What do you think, Bacon? You gotta get one.
3 months ago. Oh, what patch was that? God damn it. How much time do I have?
About 2
Not
more
that
seconds.
long.
2 more sec. The Butcher.
The Butcher.
That's actually a good guess, I think.
No, that's not it.
Survey
It might be on the
says number
Oh,
1 answer.
Oh.
Bacon got the correct
What rank
patch.
are we using here?
So that is 35 points into the bank. Okay, so control
Carry
goes
me, Bacon.
over to the Mystic family. So Mystic, next one's to you, bud. Who had the best Hero League win rate 3 months ago?
Can I bring up a hero list?
No.
Um,
Gotta be in the
No
head, man.
cheating.
oh, okay.
Oh, we gotta have honor. We're the Asian ones.
3 seconds.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
Is that a yellow card? I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, shoot.
3 seconds,
Oh, I
Mystic.
didn't.
Nazebo.
Okay. Now, Nazebo. Let's see it on the survey. Do we have Nazebo?
Oh,
No Nazebo. You guys are horrible at this. I thought you guys would be like sweeping the board here. Okay, Bacon, back to you. Can you salvage this train wreck?
Yes. 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Samuro.
Samuro. Survey says number 5 answer Samuro
on
for
there.
5 points, putting the bank up to 40.
I'm telling you, man,
Okay.
this is what the GankBush does all day. Look at we
Look at
just
Hot
look
Slug.
at the top 10 hero rankings and complain about them.
Okay, Mystic. We got 1 strike so far. 6 more answers are up on the board. Who had the best Hero League win rate 3 months ago?
Let's go with Rhaegar.
Rhaegar. That's a safe choice.
Yeah, good choice.
Rhaegar, what does the survey say?
I'm surprised. Oh, it's not.
Oh, really?
No Rhaegar, no Rhaegar. Wrong patch, I guess. Okay, Bacon, last chance to clear one off the board here. What do you say? You can't Google it, bud.
My hands are right here.
I gotta see your hands.
My hands are right here. What support? 3 months ago? No, Lucio was probably nerfed by then. Malfurion, no. Oriole, no.
TikTok, man. TikTok.
Uther.
3 seconds.
Uther.
Yeah, I think.
No!
Okay. Bacon says Uther. What does the survey say? Uther's number
Uther's
3.
up.
14. We're still missing the number 2 answer.
Giving me
That
points,
was
Bacon.
rework time.
Keep building these points for me. Come on, man.
You're building the bank, huh? That reminds me to increase the bank counter to 54. Okay. Mystic, back to you. Can you change your little win-loss record here and get a answer on the board? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say here, bud?
Can I talk to Bacon or no?
No,
Ooh.
no,
Oh,
not trying to
dang.
steal it anymore.
right.
3
Let's
seconds.
see. I'll go with Genji.
Genji. What does the survey say? Show me Genji.
Oh,
That's 3
Nope.
strikes. Okay, Liquid's
Genji out
team, the Liquid family. You guys have the chance for the steal. Bahgz, what do you think? This isn't locking in the answer. Just giving Liquid some suggestions. You had all this time when they were doing it to think about it.
No, 3 months ago.
Okay, Liquid,
Was
are you
that
gonna go?
Was that around the time that Lily was really strong before they pulled back the blind nerf for a second there?
I think it was after that.
Well, you can.
No,
you
I
can
think it was
suggest.
right around then.
You can suggest Liquid say it if you want, but
oh shoot! I think I know who number 2 was, but
All hail the panda.
okay,
Come on, man,
Liquid.
what do you think?
We're
You
gonna
wanna
need an
do it? You wanna
answer.
do it?
Bahgz is
Do it.
stumped. What do you think,
Let's do
Liquid?
it. All right, we're gonna.
Lock
All right,
it down.
we're doing Lily. We're gonna go Lily. Go, go.
No,
baby
you guys
girl.
are crazy. Lily.
Show me Lily.
Damn it.
Oh.
No Lily, which
wait,
means
wait, before you tell us, was Zool on that list?
yes, Zool was.
Yeah,
on
I
the
knew I
list.
should've
He's
went
gonna
Zool.
reveal it, isn't he? Or no?
I know, I know.
Hold on, just gonna make sure
I got
change.
suckered into the Lily love.
I'm sorry. For a hot minute there, she was out of control.
I know, I know.
Let's see what the other answers are. Number 2 answer, Malthael. How'd you guys not get that?
Ah,
I thought that was gonna
his
be a
release,
gimme.
wasn't it?
Number 4 is Zool.
I'm surprised.
Number 6 is Rexar. I'm surprised
Rexar.
that one's
So
there.
I remember that patch. That patch,
Zagara and Asmodan.
that patch was a mess, man.
Okay, so we're on to round 3.
Are the
We're going-
point values doubled now?
The point values are doubled just to make it interesting. I decided to make that like a seat of the pants decision. Okay, point values are doubled. So Liquid, you guys do have a chance to come back here and into the fast money round. So we're back to Liquid and Mystic buzzing in. So you guys all ready? Here we go. The final question. What is your favorite map? That goes to Mystic.
What? My chat is above his?
I've got Mystic
My
above
chat's-
mine.
I got
Oh,
Mystic,
dagger.
That was close. It was close. It was a speed second, but it goes to mine. So Mystic, what's your favorite map? Or of 100 people surveyed, what is their favorite map?
And this was a week ago. I'm
This
assuming.
was a week ago. Top 5 answers are on the board.
You
so
wouldn't tell me when the other.
three months ago for Hero League, and most anticipated hero was recent. These are recent surveys. Need an answer.
Fine, buddy.
Don't say the
Alright.
Japanese one.
That's
Oh.
too long. We're going back to Liquid.
Oh, that was my bad. I was
Give
about
the
to say
Spider
something,
Queen.
but
This might be an easy steal for the other team, though, right? So, Tomb of the Spider Queen. What does the survey say? That's the number 4 answer.
All
Oh,
right.
that's good enough to get you guys control of the board since Mystic got
Yep.
the X. Mystic, you got to be faster off the punch, but we got radio to
Sorry.
deal with here.
Spit it out, man. Spit it out. All right, we're up. We're up.
Okay, so that is double score, so that's worth 22 points. Okay, Bahgz, what is your favorite map?
Towers of Doom.
Towers of Doom. And what does the survey say? First
Whoa.
strike
Oh, that's surprising.
on
That's
the
evil.
board. Okay,
It's
LiQuiUd.
brutal.
Infernal Shrines.
Infernal Shrines. Okay, what does the survey say? Infernal Shrines, number 5.
I'm actually surprised
Oh,
it's number
wow.
5.
Same.
That's number 5. Wow.
Yeah. All right, you got 1 strike. Back to Bahgz. 3 more answers on the board. The top 3 answers on the board.
Cursed Hollow.
Cursed Hollow.
It's so vanilla. It's got to be on there.
Now, did the survey say Cursed Hollow? Cursed
Yeah,
Hollow?
baby.
Oh.
Number 1 answer. 32 out of 100 people responding with Cursed Hollow. Okay, next. Back to LiQuiUd. I
Don't
got to do
forget
some
our
quick
point.
math to see what that is. plus
64.
64.
104 total.
104 points in the bank. So we're looking at whoever gets this bank is the winner and goes on to fast money now. No pressure, LiQuIUd. What's your favorite map, bud?
Battlefield of Eternity.
BOE. Does the survey say Battlefield of Eternity? Ooh,
What?
we're
How is
getting
that
down there.
Who
These
took
are-
these surveys?
Well, obviously you guys weren't on the survey, right? So okay, Bahgz, no pressure. But if you get the 3rd strike here, both Mystic and Bacon have 2 opportunities here to get this steal. So here, what do you think?
Sky Temple.
Ooh, good answer. Good
Sky
answer.
Temple.
Good
Okay.
answer, buddy.
What does the survey say?
No!
Oh,
really?
right for the picking. Number 2
No.
and 3 answers on the board.
Oh,
Heading
it's so
over.
narrowed down for them.
Heading over to
No.
Team Mystic. Okay, Bacon, what do you think that Mystic should be saying here?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
On
Who's
Earth.
saying who to what?
On
Do you see on the
Earth.
screen? What is your favorite map?
Okay. Mystic. It's gotta be Dragonshire, right?
On
That's what I
Earth.
was thinking.
Is that your final
Alright.
answer?
Okay.
Lock it in.
Okay.
Let's go.
Dragonshire for the route to fast money. Is Dragonshire on the board? That's number 2 answer.
Oh.
The only maps left
Oh,
people
no.
hate.
Yeah.
Number 3 is
That's
Volskaya
crazy.
Foundry.
Oh,
So
that's a trick question.
How does nobody like
Oh.
Battlefield of Eternity?
you guys,
I get the feeling that the survey just trolled everybody.
Right?
They put down their most disliked maps on there.
I feel like Battlefield's probably right after Infernal Shrines, right? Because those 2 kind of go together.
Yeah.
well, 100
But that's
people
kinda
is not
crazy.
necessarily statistically
man,
relevant
rough.
as well.
That was wild.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the fast money round. This is where I'm going to have to get one of you guys to mute your microphone and turn away for a bit. Just hang out on our Discord channel. We'll get LiQuIUd to let you know once it's over. The way that fast money works, I'm going to ask 5 rapid fire questions of whoever the first person is. In this case, I guess it'll be Mystic. We'll put up your answers on the board. You want to try and get 200 points total. After Mystic's done, we'll go over to Bacon. Bacon cannot repeat responses. He gets 25 seconds on the board to try and cap off up to 200 points. Okay, so Bacon, are you in our soundproofed room and not watching?
Take
Yeah.
off your headset, dude.
I gotta trust you. Just keep an
And
eye on.
minimize
Keep,
Skype. Minimize
an eye-
Skype.
Do I have to also turn off stream?
just
no,
keep
just minimize Skype.
keep an eye on Discord.
Yeah, you can't watch the stream. What?
Keep an eye on Discord because LiQuIUd will let you know when to come back in.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
Miss-
I'm answering questions.
5 questions. You gotta do it really rapid fire, bud. 20 seconds goes by super fast.
Okay,
Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, the timer will start after I'm done stating the first question. So Mystic,
Okay.
what is your favorite HOTS podcast?
Troll... Trolls GG. We got
What hero is in most need of a rework?
Jimmy.
If you can go on a date with any Heroes of the Storm female, who would it be?
Nova.
What hero would most want to have your back in a bar fight?
Oh,
Go ahead.
Tychus.
And I'll do the last one quickly. Which hero tells the best jokes?
Maybe Chromie.
Crummy.
Wait, that shouldn't count though. I'm just saying he ran out of time.
You know you
He
guys are
thought
out of the
way too
game.
hard.
I took a really long time reading one, and I started the timer a little bit early too, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Plus, it makes for a better bet here, right?
This is by far probably the greatest idea I think you've ever had for a show. I definitely dude, this is awesome. Thank you. Like, this is a great idea for a 50th celebration. I can't wait to see what Bacon comes up with for those questions, because I think they were good questions. I know what he's going to answer for the first one, but dude, like, by far, this is probably one of your better ideas. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Well, I'm glad you guys
I
are
did not
enjoying
think
it.
this was your surprise.
All right, well,
You've
what we'll do
outdone
is,
yourself.
just since Bacon's already back, I won't reveal the answers that Mystic said until after you do your segment as well. So, Bacon, are you ready for this, sir?
Sure.
It's going to be fast, too. We only have 25 seconds. So I'll go through here and ask the questions. The timer will start after I read the first question. What is your favorite HOTS podcast?
Core.
What hero is in most need of a rework?
Rainer.
And do it. Try again.
Lily.
If you could go on a date with any Heroes of the Storm female, who would it be?
LiQuiuD.
What hero would you most want to have your back in a bar fight?
In a bar fight?
Yeah.
ETC.
Which hero tells the best jokes?
Alright.
So how did you
All
not
right.
pick GankBush Squad for your first, like, your favorite Heroes podcast?
I know. I was going to say.
Wow.
I was thinking, I know that we don't have mainstream appeal yet, so
All right. Fair enough. Oh my God. First of all,
I said GankBush when I should have said a hero, right?
yes. And
That was
also,
funny.
how did nobody pick Hammer to have their back in a bar fight? Like, dude, it's a tank.
Yeah. And she punched the hell out of that person in the cartoon.
Zagara.
Right?
Zagara's
That's
squishy.
Zagara.
Come on.
No, but like, she's a tank. All right. So while he types your answers, what would you have picked if you picked a hero to go on a date with?
Jaina.
That was
All
my
right.
second choice.
Who did you pick, Mystic? Because I was only
Nova.
half listening. Okay, yeah, those would have been the two.
That's so vanilla. You got to go with
Right?
Li Ming. She's sassy, man.
Li Ming is sassy.
Mm.
Wait,
you know?
all right. So if I'm reading chat, Bacon, does she have to be in the new skin, Jaina, or is it just Jaina in general?
In the thick department, so whatever
All
that
right.
is.
Yeah, that's the new skin. That's the new skin.
Oh, I should have said Tyrande. Damn it. I missed Tyrande's the GankBush's
misplay.
bae. Damn it.
That's who I was
I
saying.
mean, you didn't mention.
I
your own
misrepresented the
podcast either,
GankBush squad
so-
right there.
He said Gilly.
Oh, Gilly. I hate to
I mean,
say it.
there's
I don't know if
something
that's the
he
greatest
said
She's
Yeah,
a,
answer.
too,
she's
right?
a hero to all casters everywhere.
There you go.
If I knew it was just heroes, not the general heroes scene.
It's always if I knew, right? If I realized what the first survey was, I would have answered differently.
Exactly.
So we're going to go through, and I'll tell you everyone the top answer as we go. So the first question, what's your favorite HOTS podcast? We asked that to Mystic. He said Trolls GG, but I'm assuming he meant the Nexus Trolls,
Yeah.
which was our number one answer. I forgot to tell you, this is of the Nexus Trolls listeners that were polled. So
Oh, you
Where did
bitch.
you do this poll? I didn't. Where did you do this poll?
you got to be sneaky about this kind of stuff.
Apparently.
Okay. Next question was, what heroes most need of a rework? Rainer, which was Bacon's also go-to. Turns out number 2 answer, 35 points. So the number 1 answer was actually Chen. Okay, next one. If you go on a date with any Heroes of the Storm female, who would it be? Nova. Definitely not GankBush this time. 13. Number one answer
It's probably
was actually Valera. Probably.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Better
really?
recognize. Every member of the show that said that remembered my background, and that's right.
Yeah.
Better recognize.
I guess you got to realize where these these respondents
Right.
came from.
Right.
The
They're
next,
all Liquid Spotnet.
what hero would you most like to have your back in a bar fight? Mystic said Tychus.
That's a good choice.
19. Maybe I shouldn't say the number one answers until we get
Yeah,
to
wait
Bacon
until
side.
you do. Wait
Yeah,
until you
I'll,
do.
I'll wait until we
Bacon.
go to the other side. Okay, and then who tells the best jokes? Chromie. That's a big goose egg. Apparently, apparently Chromie's not too funny. We are at
107 or 105 rather.
105. So we're really banking on that GankBush answer, I think, here. Let's hope
Crossing my
this works.
fingers, man.
So we need 95 from Bacon. Okay, going back to the first one here. What's your favorite HOTS podcast?
No, I said the Nexus Troll.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I didn't say GankBush Squad. That's
Should've said
5.
Trollin HGC, buddy.
The number 2 answer was Trolling HGC. The number 3 answer was actually GankBush Squad.
Oh,
You should have gone with your roots there. I'll have to tell Fringe about that one.
He's watching right now.
You're that Fringe? He said core. He didn't
Hey,
say GankBush.
His top 3 would have been the same as mine. Number 4 being GankBush.
Okay, what hero is the most needed for rework? You said Lily, and the survey said 5 as well. Again,
It was
top
close.
answer was Chen. We had Chen, Raynar, Rexar, and Gazlo were the top 4. Okay, next question was, what if you could go on a date with any Heroes of the Storm female, who would it be? And you said GankBush. Yeah, and the survey says 0.
I'm looking good, man.
Wrong.
Valera,
you guys are
Tyrande,
wrong.
Diva were the top 3 guys.
Sorry, what were they?
Valera, Tyrande, and then Diva.
right.
And we've got
That's a little freaky.
Yep.
But we'll let that go.
what the Tyrande call? I
No,
think-
the Diva pick.
Diva's like a
It's like
teenager.
16, dude.
Oh jeez, maybe we got a lot of teenage listeners then. I don't know. Or maybe
Let's go with
Fringe
that.
voted 20 times.
Oh,
Okay, so
By the
next, go ahead.
Heroes of the Storm female can mean a lot of things in my defense.
It can. It can. Well, good to know you picked GankBush above all the other Heroes of the Storm characters. I'm sure she'd appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you most want to have your back in a bar fight? You said ETC. Only 3. Not looking good, I gotta say here, Bacon.
oh man.
We're
What was
I have
relying-
the last one.
On your final
Alarak.
answer, who tells the funniest jokes? And you said Alarak. And unfortunately, big fat
Oh.
goose egg.
Oh
Wait,
no!
Alaric
one
letting me
for the last
down.
Questions.
So unfortunately, we did not get fast money winners today with a grand total of 118. But everybody, thanks for playing.
Wait.
the-
You got to tell us number ones for the last 2
Oh.
questions.
Okay, bar fight. Yeah, good point. I almost forgot that. Cho'Gall number 1, like
Oh damn! I
You
did.
got 2 people.
right.
Garrosh, and then Diablo. And then the final one, best jokes, Gazlo, Muradin, and ETC. You just need to switch that ETC answer with
Nice.
Alarak there.
Nice.
We've been doing pretty
Ah.
good. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for being part of the inaugural. Maybe we'll do this again. Family Feud.
Dude, that was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm rigging up buzzers with you though for next time.
Yeah,
We're
we'll
totally gonna have
increase the
buzzers.
production quality next time. Maybe I can get those fast money answers in a little bit faster too. Okay, so we're gonna roll into our next segment. This is where Bacon's gonna take off, but don't take off quite yet, Bacon. We did a special interview with Ro from the Realm Maintenance podcast. We talked about BlizzCon. We talked about Calm Before the Storm. We talked about the world of podcasts, all of which are happening the day before BlizzCon. Bacon and LiQuiuD are actually on one of the panels that he mentions too, the Heroes of the Storm panel on Thursday. So if you're heading to BlizzCon, definitely check it out. I think we're all gonna be there, right, guys? Bahgz, are you coming to BlizzCon? I can't remember.
Yep, I'll be there.
Perfect. All 5 of us on screen right now will be at BlizzCon, and we'll all be at World of Podcasts as well the day before. If you want to check out more about that, head over to Calm Before Storm, not Calm Before the Storm, calmbeforestorm.com. So that being said, we're going to pop into this pre-recorded segment I did this morning with Ro. So we've got a very special segment today on our 50th episode. We are joined by one of my favorite people in the community, Ro. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, Daz, and congratulations on 50 episodes. It feels like just yesterday when you guys were in the teens and I first talked about you on Realm Maintenance.
Yeah, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's a special place in my heart for Ro because you were one of the first people ever in the community to reach out to us and make us feel like welcome in the community. And that's one of the things I love about you and what you do. I feel like you're one of the hubs of the community. You bring a lot of people together and make a lot of people feel welcome in the community.
I've been told that I am the community manager for Blizzard podcasting, and that'd be great. I wish I was getting paid for it, but honestly, it's my pleasure. I mean, I've always had a love for podcasting.
Yeah, so what's that podcast that you do that you just mentioned there? What's it called?
So it's called Realm Maintenance, which the name originated from World of Warcraft, going into Realm Maintenance on Tuesday. They don't even really call it Realm Maintenance anymore. They just say Server Maintenance. But I remember when they called it Realm Maintenance. And the show comes out on Tuesdays, the same day as servers usually go down and Battle.net goes down for maintenance for pretty much all the games, so it still makes sense there. And it is a podcast that covers all Blizzard games, and I will briefly mention like the news for games and stuff like that, but that's really the very smallest bit of the show. The show is generally focused on the podcasts that are talking about all these games. It's a very meta kind of thing, but it helps introduce listeners to podcasts that they may have not heard about before. I basically talk about like, hey, this show is getting to interview this person or that person, or this show might be doing a special giveaway you might want to check out. So whenever a podcast has something that's worth pointing out, whether it's an interview, a giveaway, perhaps a topic that caught my attention that I think other people would want to listen to, I try to tell folks all about it.
And I listen to it on a regular basis, and it's exposed me to a bunch of podcasts outside of my comfort zone that I never would have expected before, too. So, Ro, you are a BlizzCon regular. I've never actually been to
This will be my 5th year, yeah.
I've never actually been to BlizzCon. So I was saying to the other guys before we started the show, being like, you know what, we should probably get Ro on here because none of us have had experience going to BlizzCon. Let's get a BlizzCon regular on so he can talk about it and tell us like sort of tips or what to expect. So if I'm going to BlizzCon for the first time, what should I expect? I hear it's a good time, but other than that, I don't know too much about it.
Wow, that is such a simple question, and it could take so long to answer. So I guess I'll talk about my first BlizzCon experience a little bit, in that one of the best moments of my first year at BlizzCon was the opening ceremony. Now, I had seen this thing on, the live stream virtual ticket, however they had it back then. And I'd seen that for a couple of years, and it was always exciting and full of hype and stuff like that. But that was the year that I think Warlords of Draenor got announced for World of Warcraft, and a couple other big announcements happened too. And being in that crowd when a new expansion is announced for WoW, or when new content is really released for any game, there's just a magic, an electricity to it that's really hard to put into words. I remember the year that Overwatch was announced as this new IP, and Chris Metzen was on stage introducing us to this world that they had created, and watching the cinematic, and you could just feel chills running through thousands of fellow nerds. And I mean, like, and that's one other thing about BlizzCon. I feel like even today, although video gaming and eSports and all this stuff has become a lot more socially acceptable, it's still kind of one of those things where, like, you could be hesitant to want to openly share your love for that kind of stuff because some people may think, oh, you're a nerd for being into video games and you're 40 years old. But when you're at BlizzCon, you are surrounded by family. You are surrounded by fellow gamers who love the games that you love, who play the games that you play, and it's really a magical time of year. It's what I call nerd Christmas for me. It's not like I get a whole ton of gifts. I mean, I buy my own gifts by going to the Blizzard store. But it's just a special time of year, and more than the actual stuff that happens in BlizzCon and being able to play all the demos and stuff like that, expect a lot of long lines for that kind of stuff. I would say the best moments are the moments that you get to spend with other people that you may have known just through the internet, but you get some time to spend a few moments with them face to face in person, and that can be a little nervous at first, but it can also be extremely exciting. So for your first time going to BlizzCon, I think my biggest advice would be to be careful about your time management, but not too careful. Understand that there's going to be way too much happening at BlizzCon for you to go see everything all at once, right? That's why the virtual ticket's there. That's why you have that on-demand stuff to catch all the stuff that you end up missing after the fact. Decide which stuff you want to see first, what stuff that you want to go do that's more important than anything else, and do that stuff. On top of that, make sure to set aside some time to just hang out with friends and stuff, because that can be just as fun and just as important as going to the Heroes of the Storm announcement panel or something like that.
Yeah, looking at the schedule, it looks like a
It's packed.
whirlwind. Yeah, I'm wondering how they could pack so much into just a couple of short days. And then the day before BlizzCon, there's a special event that you're involved in the organization of. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned should BlizzCon be extended to 3 days. For me, BlizzCon already is 3 days, and it almost is like that for Blizzard too, because on the Thursday before BlizzCon, they already have their gear store opened up. People are registering their badges and all that stuff. Meanwhile, just a short walk from the convention center over at the Anaheim Hilton, there's a lot of people getting together, hanging out in the lobby, having fun, talking amongst friends, and just upstairs, you will find this little event called Con Before the Storm. And Con Before the Storm is a community-funded event. It's something that the funding for it's all done via Kickstarter. So the party is basically created by fans for fans. I have been involved with the whole party for 5 years now. It originally was just called World of Podcasts. The first one, this will be the 5th one. So the first one was basically 4 years ago at the Red Lion Hotel. And it was a very small thing where a whole bunch of podcasters from different podcasts got together and did little shows and talked about podcasts. And that we iterated on that. It got bigger. We moved to the Hilton. We did crowdfunding for it. And it's just become this huge, basically one-day mini convention where you get to see not only all these podcasters that you may have been listening to that are attending BlizzCon, but Con Before the Storm has evolved and expanded to basically include content creators, cosplayers, your streamers, YouTubers, all that stuff. We have an art gallery that can't be beat, showcasing, art from tons of fan artists. It's really an amazing thing. Like I said, it's kind of like a warm-up convention of sorts to BlizzCon. You're not going to get to see any demos over there. You're not going to get any big announcements, but you're going to get that feeling of community, of hanging out friends with stuff. And I feel like we serve an important function there in terms of BlizzCon goes, because like I said earlier on, one thing at BlizzCon that's so tough is time management, wanting to do all these things, but also wanting to spend time with friends. Thursday gives you that option to spend that time with friends and to hang out and to just talk about your love for games and just, the good times you've had and speculating where the big announcement's going to be, and just getting to meet all these people that you never thought you'd get a chance to. It's just a ton of fun. So I feel like Con Before the Storm and just that day before BlizzCon in general is as big and as important a part of my trip as the rest of the BlizzCon itself.
And pretty much everyone I've talked to is going to Con Before the Storm, fellow podcasters as well as people I talked to in the community. Like, it seems like you said before, like you've done the work of extending BlizzCon by a day, by being involved in Con Before the Storm and World of Podcasts. And I believe that one of our co-hosts is going to be on one of the World of Podcast panels too. Do you want to tell us about like how is World of Podcast and Common Core, how do those intermix, or like how are they separate or the same? How does that work? Because I'm not actually sure myself.
So both World of Podcast and Comp Before the Storm are basically two events that are joined at the hip and organized by essentially the same kind of group and people and stuff like that. World of Podcasts is a series of several panels of podcasters from various different podcasts coming together on a single panel podcast to talk about the game that they cover in most cases. You will find a Hearthstone panel there with a whole bunch of panelists that are from different Hearthstone podcasts. You'll find one for World of Warcraft, one for Overwatch, not one for Diablo, though we do have a Diablo podcaster in our very first panel, just to make sure Diablo gets a little bit of love. And obviously, we also have a panel for Heroes of the Storm, and that is going to be once again moderated by Scott Johnson from the Core podcast, which a lot of people I'm sure will be familiar with. His co-host John Jagger will be there. Kyle Ferguson from Into the Nexus will be there. Jeff Reynolds from Heroes Forge. Andrew Kang from GankBush Squad. Ryan Reeder from Lords of the Storm. And last but certainly not least for this show, LiQuiuD will be there representing the Nexus Trolls.
Sounds like an all-star lineup right there. I can't wait to sit on the sidelines and get to watch, all of those fellow podcasters as well as LiQuiuD on the panel.
I just wish we could fit more podcasters into it. I mean, to be fair, Heroes of the Storm actually is going to have our largest lineup of panelists out there. It's the only one with 7 panelists. And I think we're going to have to end up having 2 people share a microphone because I think we only rented 6 microphones. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going on from 8:30 to 9:45 p.m. Pacific time. So there will be plenty of time for people to talk about what's going to be happening in Heroes. It should be a ton of fun. Scott is a great host. When it comes to this panel in particular, I have very little to do with it in terms of like saying, okay, I think you guys should talk about this, this, and this. I mean, Scott's been at this for years. He's a pro. I basically just say, here's your panelists, do a Heroes podcast, go. And he does such a great job. I think it's going to be a great panel.
And I don't even think he has any idea where it's going to end up going to. You never know where it's
he has no idea where it goes until probably the day of the panel. And even then, it's like maybe 5 minutes before. It's like, okay, let's talk about this.
Exactly. So if anyone wants to participate at Calm Before the Storm or will the podcast, like attend it, like how can they do that? Do they have to buy tickets? How does this work?
So you need to go to combeforestorm.com. Tickets cost $200 a person. Oh, wait. No. Actually, so Calm Before Storm is actually entirely 100% free. Like I said, the whole event is crowdfunded by people in the community. And that means that we don't need to, create ticket prices for this thing. This is an event where you can walk into the Hilton, go up the escalator to Calm Before the Storm, and now at Calm Before the Storm, you'll find things like the artist gallery. There will be tables where you can meet and greet with a whole bunch of different content creators and stuff like that. Stuff that's relevant to Heroes of the Storm. I do know that there are plans to have some HGC people there. Gillyweed was there last year. I am fairly sure that she will have a presence there at some point this year. It all depends on her rehearsal schedule for HGC. Probably going to see another cast or 2 there from the HGC as well. That stuff always not 100% confirmed, but it's happened the past couple years. I don't see why it wouldn't happen this year. World of Podcasts is going to be happening in its own room on the 4th floor of the Hilton, and we'll have signs pointing people out to get to that. And World of Podcasts will be running from basically the afternoon through most of the evening. I think the pre-party is at 4 o'clock, where Scott's going to do an early episode of the instance there. And these panels run all the way through midnight. So nutshell version, if you want to find out more about all this stuff, and we've only just gone the tip of the iceberg about this, my advice is to go to conbeforestorm.com. There's no "the" in it for this. So conbeforestorm.com, Follow at Con Before Storm on Twitter. You can also follow at World of Podcasts on Twitter. There's going to be tons of giveaways that are connected to this whole event. And even if you're not going there in person, you'll be able to catch all this stuff on demand. For instance, the Heroes of the Storm panel, we will be making that available as a podcast on Apple Podcasts and Google Music. And we've also invited all the podcasts that are participating in this, including the Nexus Trolls, if they want to put the World of Podcast panel for whatever game they're covering on their podcast feeds.
We'll definitely have the panel on our feed, and I can tell it's an exciting event just by how excited you are about it. It's infectious, Ro.
I'm so pumped about it.
I'm extraordinarily excited. I can't even put it in words either. So, Ro, if people are looking for you on the internet, how can they find Ro? Where can they find Ro?
They can find Ro on Twitter at RoWow. That's RHOWOW. You can find my Realm Maintenance podcast on Twitter at Realm Podcast. And once again, you can go to realm-maintenance.com to check out the Realm Maintenance site there, where, again, like I said, right on the front page, you scroll down a little bit, you will find a listing of all the podcasts out there that I know of that are covering Blizzard games. There may be some Heroes of the Storm podcasts out there that you're not aware of. I have links to those shows. Check them out. Give them a shot. See what you think. And you can catch the latest episode on the site. Podcasts normally come out every other Tuesday. The next few weeks revolving around BlizzCon, the schedule is going to be a little wonky and stuff like that. I'm going to have like an extra show here and another show there. But a whole lot of stuff coming up in the next few weeks, a whole lot of content on Realm Maintenance. Feel free to check it out. And once again, Daz, just thanks for having me on your 50th episode. It's quite an honor.
Anytime. It was nice having you on the other end of the seat there. I'm used to hearing you being the interviewer, not the interviewee. So tables have turned. Anyways,
indeed, it is my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Ro, for coming on, and I'm sure we'll be catching you soon. So that was the interview we did just this morning with Ro, a great person in the community. I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk to him. So back to our regular portion of the show, we're going to just jump right into LiQuiud's eSports Corner. We're actually running short on time, so we might have to cut our talk on Junkrat. He's only been on the PTR for a couple days, and we figure if we give it another week, we'll have a lot more to talk about on the newest hero who's going to be coming to the Nexus. But that being...
Can I interject with 2 words here for Junkrat?
Sure.
Ranged garage. All right.
Ranged garage. There was one neat thing that I did want to quickly mention too. Is I think McIntyre I put a little clip of it in the show notes. But you can actually spec in so that your little like landmine that makes you jump, if you do it on yourself, you can basically get like a 2-second cooldown after it activates. So you can turn yourself into almost like a Genji because you have 50% range from like Junkrat jumping around. And it looked pretty sick just watching McIntyre chase a guy, just using mines to get him to move around. But we'll talk about that next week because now it's time for LiQuiud's eSports Corner. We got Bahgz here too for it.
Hey yo, how you doing? It's time for LiQuiud's eSports Corner. That's right. And you're gonna want to stick around for this.
Take it away, LiQuiud and Bahgz.
All right, so we're only gonna cover 4 games this week, and only 4 games here because the rest of it we're gonna do on Troll and HCC tonight. All right, so here we go. Over in the EU, Diamond Skin did keep their place by defeating Polska Pamięta 4-2, but TGG ended up losing the Leftovers in a really close series, 3-4. TGG's already broken up, and tonight on Troll and HCC, we'll have Lauber from the Leftovers to talk about that whole journey. And since Bahgz is actually here, I'm going to let him do NA.
Over in NA, Lag Force showed up as they normally do when it came down to being crunch time, taking out imported support for the second Crucible in a row by an identical score of 4-2. The second match on Sunday was Even in Death versus Heroes Hearth eSports. Even in Death showed up, did the best they could, but it wasn't quite enough. They lose to Heroes Hearth eSports 4-2, and then promptly disband shortly thereafter. Also on Trolling HCC, we'll have the main tank player for Heroes Hearth, Ishbu, on the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun show. 2 main warriors out of 2 new teams that just got into HCC. And on top of that, and this is probably the only shout out I'm going to give him tonight. GankBush Squad has why am I going blank on this?
You're not
They've
as
got-
good at name
they've
dropping
got-
as Bacon.
They've got BBJ on.
That's
the show.
right, BBJ. Thank you.
We should have pretended to forget though.
But no, really. GankBush Squad has BBJ on tonight. They go on in 25 minutes, but you can check their VOD out because you know you want to watch us live when we have Ishbu and Lauber on the show.
Competing shows for a time slot. It's a contested time slot at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about esports wise? I feel like that. I mean, I guess you're going to be doing a whole show about it come like half hour.
So part of the problem is the only events that were this past weekend were the Crucible, right? So there were only 4 series to cover. All great series. I enjoyed watching Grubby and Tetcher and saw Jake and Jay Howe in the studio. It was a good time. And then next week or this coming week, we have no games at all, right? The finals don't start until the 26th. So next week we're going to be talking with who do we have on the show next week?
Aether. We have Team Freedom.
Team
we have
coach.
correct.
Yep.
We have the coach of Team Freedom on the show for our BlizzCon preview show.
Like,
So we're going to
you
go
don't have to forget. You don't have to pretend to forget anymore. You're talking about your own show.
Be like, Bahgz, here we are. I know, man. I know. But no, it'll be a good show next week too. We'll be previewing the entire HGC, all the groups, going through all of that. But this week we're going to focus just on Crucible and a little bit of Open Division, like what everybody thought about Open Division this past phase. So it'll be a good show. Just not a lot going on. Tempo Storm, Heroes Hearth. Sorry.
Heroes Hype.
Tempo Storm, Heroes Hype. Someone was talking about that in the Heroes Hype chat. Now it's in my head, and I'm like, no, wait, I'd never had this problem before. Tempo Storm, Heroes Hype season finale is on tonight as well. So we'll be hosting them after Trollin HGC tonight.
And 2 weeks from now, I'm not sure if you knew this, LiQuiud, but we booked a person for your show on Trollin HGC. We've got the janitor from BlizzCon coming on because he's going to be your new best friend.
He is. Everybody's convinced that I'm going to spend the night in at the HGC stage.
Everyone but you. I think we all know it's happening.
Dude, you guys are going to have to bring me food because I'm going to be home in seats. So keep that in mind.
If you keep that seat warm, I'll make sure I bring you food, sir. I'll keep you well fed. So we've also got a little bit of an announcement too. Myself and LiQuiud are going to be involved in a pilot project. LiQuiud, do you want to tell everyone about this?
Yeah, so we're going to try something new. A while ago, Daz and I talked about trying. We were going to teach some friends. He was teaching a friend Heroes of the Storm. I was going to teach my wife Heroes of the Storm. That didn't really quite take off the way we wanted it to. But instead, we came up with another idea, and we're calling it Date Night. We're both going to play with our wives, and we're going to stream it. That sounded really dirty. We're going to play video games with our wives.
This is an X-rated show.
You know what my wife's been saying we need to make it like Trollin for ladies or something like that. But anyway, we're gonna
quickest ways to get banned from Twitch, right?
Right. So we're gonna play video games with our wives on stream. It will be on the Trolls GG stream. We're still working out some of the specific details about how we switch between streams and things like that. But we're gonna start with Guild Wars 2, and we're gonna go from there and see how that goes. We did talk about WoW a little bit. And we're gonna start playing in Friday nights. See how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how Guild Wars 2 goes, and I mean, if we'll see how long that kind of takes us. And then once we run out of steam there, we'll move on to the next game and see how that goes. So we're gonna be starting that this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Is that what we're looking at, LiQuiud?
Yeah. Yes.
And we're gonna be trying to do it regularly on Fridays.
Sorry, I know we're on a time constraint, but what made you guys go with Guild Wars 2?
That would be LiQuiud.
We actually talked a lot about this. And what Daz told me is that his wife wants something very like story oriented.
She's not a gamer at all, so we had to sell her on the idea, and she gave me a strict 3-week timeline. She's like, I'll do it for 3 weeks. If I enjoy it, I'll keep going. If not, cut in the string. So me and LiQuiud like got to find something that'll rope her in, and I think we figured that WoW. I mean, I've never really played WoW much, but I think LiQuid was saying it's probably a little too grindy and less like story oriented for someone who only has 3 weeks to get into it.
Yeah.
Right. Originally it was gonna be WoW, for sure, and then it the more we talked about it, the more I realized that she probably wouldn't get exactly what we needed out there. if we used WoW itself. So instead, I was like, well, me and my wife have been playing a little bit of Guild Wars 2. Familiar with it. It's very story driven. It's not like if something happens and we need to take a minute, that's not a problem. It ticked all the boxes, right? It's more of a casual game. There's low barrier of entry. It's basically free until you want to buy an expansion or something else.
Yeah.
So, like all of the reasons that you would want in an experiment like this, and then we'll just go from there and see what we end up with later.
Yeah, my wife's not a big PUBG player either, or else maybe we would have gone that route too, right?
I can see that now. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, we're just gonna do it as a bit of a pilot project to see if everyone enjoys it. Most notably my wife, and then if she does, and if everyone does, and if it goes well, then we'll continue on indefinitely until we run out of games to play.
Right.
So we also had a patch drop today, conveniently a few hours before this show, which is already ram-packed full of content, which is the reason why we're skipping Junkrat and the PTR patch and keeping that for next week. Actually, we've got Trollin confirmed on for next week as our guest next week. So we'll be talking about Junkrat and the PTR patch, which will be live by then with Trollin. So we'll get some good insight from him. But we had lots of heroes touched in the patch that dropped today. A lot of these changes were already in the PTR, so it's kind of like half covering the PTR patch by going over what we're going over today. The big reworks on Muradin and Zul'jin did not make it through onto live. However, a lot of these small changes did, so let's go over them quickly. And if anyone has any comments as I go through, because it's going to be a blitz, just feel free to jump on in, guys. So Genji, first hero touched. His level 20 augmented Dragon Blade will only increase the duration of Dragon Blade by 0.75 seconds when it hits a hero. This is down from 1 second. Genji continues to get nerfed, I guess. Are we seeing a lot of them in competitive play still?
You know what was interesting is I didn't see a lot of them at the Crucible that I remember. I could be completely off because like my brain is one big mash of HGC games. But it feels like he's been slowly tapering off lately.
Absolutely. He used to, I mean, even after these, like the second round of nerfs, he was still kind of like one of the first pick heroes, but he has kind of waned. But in certain players' hands, he's still kind of, it still brings fear to the Nexus. This is just, it seems kind of unnecessary at this point because he's not broken anymore.
I feel like he's falling into Medivh territory, where in the right player's hands, like Bahgz said, he's great, but in most players' hands, he's a little bit hard to use. Kel'Thuzad is the next one that got touched. Frost Blast, that's the bad ultimate that no one takes, got mana and cooldown reductions. Strip Shield's level 4 talent will now give KT 7% more shields when he pulls a hero that's chained. Looking for talent diversity to compete with Chains of Ice, Icy Grasp has had an increased slow duration, and Chain Link will now refund mana as well as lower the cooldown when chaining 2 heroes. Mystic. Kel'Thuzad again, another high skill cap hero getting nerfed. What do you think about these changes?
I think the Frost Blast is good. It's a step in the right direction. I think that's exactly what it needed. The Strip Shields, yeah, it's an underpicked talent, I'd like to say. So, you know, that was pretty good. He really needed something to, like, give himself a little bit more of appeal. Because, I mean, other than the chain that he can use on the Ice Spike that he has to get if he wants to appeal one target, then, you know, he doesn't really have anything. And he just, like, if anybody gets on him, he just dies. So, I think...
Yeah, I guess I called it a nerf, but I meant it's actually a buff across the board. I don't know why I misspoke there.
I do want to go back for 1 second. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Genji was played in 5 matches and banned in 5 matches, giving him a 40% popularity during the Crucible.
LiQuiuD,
most of them, I think, were in the Polska match, right?
They were. Polska picked him 3 times, Good Guys picked him once, and Lag Force picked him once.
Lunara got a very small change. Her Wisp got a buff. It takes 2 attacks instead of 1 to kill that pesky little wisp, and you can reissue move commands after 1 second instead of 5. Not a lot to talk about there.
So I counter that. I believe there is.
Okay,
so
then talk away.
Lunara is actually becoming one of the. I really don't like calling her a hyper carry because I don't feel like her spread damage allows her to really play the hyper carry role. But in the double tank, double healer, or double support, single tank, like you see a lot more Lunara coming in, and this is definitely a buff. her wisp will last longer. You have that much more time to possibly see somebody, and being able to move it that much faster means if you happen to be really good at micro, you'll see the person coming to attack. You can move your wisp, and you can like frequently move your wisp around to micro it around and try and make it survive and scout the area a little bit better for you. So this is actually a huge buff to micro capable Lunara players.
I honestly think it's a bit too much. Every 1 second you're able to move that thing.
It's crazy,
actually,
right?
Yeah, that's actually insane.
Right. So I think on the surface, it looks like it's not a huge change, but I think in the hands of the pros, they're going to be able to do some things with this that were not planned, and not even just the pros, right? Like solid players that are good at their micro skills and multitasking will be able to do a lot of cool things with this.
Oh God! So you're telling me I can't just throw my wisp into a bush and forget about it anymore?
I mean, you can, and that's how people use it. A lot of people use it now, but if you want to really take advantage of this change, no.
Oh gosh! Well, next time I play Lunara, I'm gonna have to make sure my brain is well rested. So Malthael got his trait reduced from 2.25 to 2% of the enemy hero's maximum health. That's a sizable downgrade there from his trait. Mystic, I know
Is this the second time they've done that?
Yeah.
Did he release at 2.5?
I believe so.
No, he was lower or higher. I mean, wasn't he 3%?
You might be
He was
right.
3.
He was up there, but for whatever reason, I mean,
Regardless,
maybe 3 months
this
ago,
is-
right? Because he was one of the top win rate heroes from our survey before. So yeah, I don't know. It's a significant little downgrade to his damage, being one of the primary sources of his damage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm double checking right now.
Man, a lot of people were complaining, like when Malthael was released. Oh, he does too good versus tanks. He needs to do better versus squishy heroes, right? And now people are complaining he does too well versus both.
So
You gotta stop listening to Reddit, Mystic. They
he
complain
hit
about
release,
everything.
and then at 2.5, and then went from 2. I think on the PTR he was even higher than 2.5, but when he hit release, he was at 2.5%. And then on July 11th, he went from 2.5 to 2.25, and now he's going from 2.25 to 2%. Here's patchnotes.com, people. It's a great place to find things like that.
So LiQuiuD and Bahgz, do you think one of the reasons they rush out this patch day, like, are we playing on this patch on BlizzCon? Is that the reason they wanted to do this?
100%. Yes. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes.
No, I meant you. I wanted to roll into you talking about this because I'm looking at a lot of these, and a lot of them seem to be kind of pro-centric, including our next one, like Abathur, 3.5% more damage to Spike Burst, but Ultimate Evo got its cooldown increased from 50 to 70 seconds, which is significant.
So what's interesting is 3, I think it was 3 days. What day? Yeah, Monday. So Monday they tweeted out, we are going to have HGC playing on this patch with Junkrat. And the community, like as a community, lost their minds completely. Like, you're giving us no time to play with this hero or this patch.
The FFO'd, man. The FFO'd.
Well,
They freaked the out.
Freak the F out, right? Half of the regions can't even access PTR to practice. So it was like everybody freaked out. So Blizzard backed it up a little bit. They rolled this patch out to PTR. They rolled it out to tournament. They announced that Junkrat wouldn't be playable. I think that was today. It might have been last night, but I think it was today. And that only the balance patch. So the reworks will be there, which has me really excited to see what people do with Muradin. But Junkrat won't be available. But 100% they're pushing this patch out so quickly because this is the patch they want at HGC.
Not too concerned. I feel like Junkrat isn't very competitive, or won't be a very competitively picked hero in HGC personally, but I mean, that's just from what I've seen of him. So.
I mean, I know Bahgz and I were both watching this unfold, and there were a ton of pros freaking out about Junkrat being available. It was not a small number, man.
Huh. Maybe they know something that I don't. Maybe there's a reason I'm not a pro. So Nazeebo also had some changes, some pretty big ones too. Health and health regen reduced just over 8%. They balance this by having Voodoo Ritual giving more health per stack, 6 instead of 4 to compensate. Spiders gained slightly more damage at the expense of Toad's damage. Ravenous Spirit got an increase in cast range to compete with the other ultimate, Gary, the Gargantuan. I like to call him Gary.
Gary.
Me and Gary are buds.
That's cool.
Superstition at 13 had a big change too. You now get 40 spell armor, but basic attacks remove this bonus for 3 seconds, which will probably lead to some interesting gameplay. Spider Colony at 16 now reduces the cooldowns of toads and zombies by 0.25 seconds for each spider attack, instead of giving a faster cooldown recharge to the spiders at high health. Kind of taking a little bit out of the spider build there too, I guess. Now, Nazebo seems to be going even more late game here too, with relying more on stacks and less on base health.
So what was interesting here is probably 3 days before they announced these PTR patch notes, which had this and then got rolled out to live today, somebody in Reddit or somewhere, I don't remember where I was reading this, was basically, I think it had to be Reddit, was like, I love the spider build. The spider build is great, but Blizzard's probably going to nerf the spider build, and I'm hoping that the way they do it doesn't mean they're going to invalidate anything. And literally 3 days after this guy put this Reddit thread up, the patch notes released and the comments from the dev were basically, yeah, we feel like if you pick one wrong talent in the spider build, you're boned. So we're going to try and make it a little bit better for you and give you a little bit more talent diversity.
The talent diversity, they always throw that out there as the excuse for pretty much everything. Eh? Just moving along here, Probius got a change too. Pylon health was slightly increased. Damage bonus for photon cannons from level 1 gathering minerals that gets you upon quest completion increased from 25 to 35%. Shield battery at 13 that gives allies shields when within pylon range has shields increased by about 20%, but shields dissipate faster when leaving pylon range. Not that we're seeing a ton of Probiuses these days, but I guess maybe they decided it was time to give them a little bit of a buff. Zagara also got touched. Base health reduced 4% and regen reduced 3%. Her Maw cooldown, more notably, was reduced from 100 to 80 seconds. Remember back in the day when Maw was the go-to talent for Zagara, guys?
Well, now Zag is so global, right? And that's why they had to do the health and the regen reduction to make her not quite as strong. But now, at the same time, they also, apparently want people picking Maw because everybody goes with Nidus, yeah.
I miss the Maw Wombo combo plays. Like, I think my Maw timing is just completely trash because I haven't seen a Maw game, in months and months, I feel like.
Well, VP is basically Maw, but it's much easier to use.
Because you can cancel it. Right? Time it perfectly. Ana had her basic attack damage increased from 30 to 33. Whoop-de-doo. Level 4 Overdose, and this is one thing I'm a little bit sad about, no longer applies doses when using Grenade, but Sleep Dart now applies 3 doses instead of 2. And they mentioned the patch notes, and listening to Dunk Train and Bakery talk about this a bit, they were saying that the kind of like the spread the doses build was a little bit broken. We haven't seen that from Hot Slogs, but I'm wondering if competitive play, was there any Ana competitive play this weekend, or was Ana in the...
She wasn't available yet.
She wasn't available.
So, yeah, I wonder, because they did mention that they're worried about some kind of build paths being a little overtuned, I think. So I can see how getting a lot of doses out there in an AoE style, like you could do with a grenade, would lead to a lot of like high-level play being a little bit broken. So I can see that maybe being why they removed that from Ana. So Brightwing got a little bit of a nerf. Pixie Dust grants only 25 spell armor now, down from 30 per 30. And Emerald Wind only gets 5% passive healing bonus instead of 8. And the shield from level 7 Phase Shield reduced from 400 to 350. I barely got a chance to try out Brightwing's Phase Shield build before it got nerfed. I'm kind of sad about that one. Is Brightwing going to be seeing a bit of a resurgence still, or is this kind of bringing her back in line? What do you think, Mystic?
I think she's still going to be strong because the spell armor thing is pretty huge. Emerald Wind is also pretty big because, most Brightwings just took that and then they went in with the Phase Shift build and then just Emerald Winded everybody anyway. This Phase Shift shield nerf, I think, was okay, but I really think they needed to nerf the duration of the shield because it lasts 10 seconds, which is insanely long.
It's as long as you'd probably ever need, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Moving along, Karazim. Healing from Transcendence trait is increased by 7%. Insight cooldown is increased from 1.5 to 1.75 seconds per 3 basic attacks, buffing Karazim a little bit. I know they want to get a little bit more of the healing away from his Iron Fist build towards Transcendence and Insight. I guess is the way of doing that. Lieutenant Morales got health and regen reduced by just over 3%. Grenade build level 1 talent clear. The first quest reward results in a 3-second grenade cooldown reduction, was 4 before. Blast shield level 4 will give a shield for 6% of her max health, down from 8%. And level 13, that reduced cooldown of the grenade to 1 second if you hit 2 heroes. To spam that grenade is now 2 seconds if you hit 2 heroes. 2 or more.
I want to go back to Karazim
Yeah,
because
sure.
BBJ Hots is watching right now. I'm sure he's got us muted because I think he's in the GankBush Squad now. But I'd love to know his thoughts on whether or not he's going to look at shifting away from the damage build on Karazim, or if he still thinks that's the most up to date and the way to go. Because I think that'll be interesting. They're like most pros that pick up Karazim now go, and I'm totally forget Way the Iron Fist, I think is what it's called, as their go-to. And I'd be curious to now. Granted that a lot of times that's with second healer, but I'm curious to see if that trend continues or not with these changes this coming HGC finals.
The change to Insight, too, I think is pretty huge. Like the cooldown reduction of 1.75 seconds per 3 attacks. I wonder if that changes any thresholds in terms of, like, you know, if you use your E, will that all of a sudden get your Q back off cooldown like instantaneously after the E's done? Like, you know, like things like that, right? Where you can move around a little bit faster. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for Karazim. But we're quickly running out of time, so I'm going to motor through the last few here. Stukov, over 5% health and regen reduction. Healing pathogen heal amount reduced by 7.5%. Level 1 has talents changed to improve competition to growing infestation, which is my always go-to pick there. Spine launcher that makes Stukov a ranged AA slowing hero. Comes with a 40% damage reduction to AA, up from 30%. I think that's pretty much going back to what it was before. Maybe before it was 50%. They've kind of retuned it a bit. Popping pustules. This is the quest to detonate 10 weighted pustules to get a reward where detonations deal an AoE slow. Will also bring the increase in the final damage of pustules up to 50%, or by 50%. Level 16 has some talent changes to improve competition with Pox Populi too. Super String will give heals to heroes rooted or stunned, not just stunned, when they have a healing pathogen on them. And Universal Carrier that makes pathogens spread through Stukov indefinitely has healed reduced by 50% from 60%. I love Stukov. We're seeing a lot of them in Tier 3 Chair League. Not saying it's, you know, the end-all be-all of the meta, but Stukov is pretty strong in Chair League there.
I mean, he had a lot of picks this weekend too.
Yeah, that silence just so powerful. It's
incredible, right? And it got kills. It got a lot of kills this weekend. If I'm looking at, where is it? Crucible, just do it.
He showed up in like 4 or 5 of the
9.
TGG.
Well,
yeah, just like
4
in
or 5
the
of the TGG games, yeah. But 9 total, and won 5 of those 9, and then was banned the other 1 match. So out of the 10 he was included in, he played in 9. So he's definitely making an appearance.
So we started it in Chair League Tier 3, and it's trickled down to the pros.
Trendsetters over here. That's what we are.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Diva got some changes. Level 1 talents are tweaked to improve competition for hit the nitrous, which was the go-to there. Rushdown now decreases the cooldown of Q if not taking or dealing damage during the Q by 7 seconds, up from 5. Crash Course, you only need to hit 20 heroes to complete your quest now, down from the 25 cooldown reduction reward upon hitting heroes. Pro Moves gives Diva movement speed bonus for 1.5 seconds, up from the 1.25 seconds from after taking damage. Level 4 Diverting Power that makes Defense Matrix huge, while giving her movement speed only reduces speed by 30% now instead of 50%. I think that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Level 7 that increases the timer and damage of Self-Destruct will now increase the damage by 70%, up from 50%. And level 20 Stop and Pop, the horrible Bunny Hop talent augment that deals bonus damage when not moving, has damage increased from 150% to 200%. And Concussive Pulse, I had to look this up, it's an activatable ability at 20 as a cooldown reduction that goes from 8 to 7 seconds now. So Diva.
There's going to be some interesting things with Diva. She's a great second tank, and a lot of those were buffs.
Yeah, a Stop and Pop actually does a lot of damage if you're standing still, and they just buffed that damage.
Yeah.
It's going to hit really hard.
Yeah.
You just have to be standing still, I guess. I guess you combo that with an ETC Mosh.
Yeah, if you combo that with anything, people in it just
people are going to get melted, right?
It hits you so much harder than like a KT Phoenix.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for post 20 Diva. Garrosh got changed his level 20 augment to his AoE taunt.
This made me sad.
So it no longer increases the duration of the taunt.
That made me sad.
If you didn't know, that made LiQuid sad.
It did.
To be fair, LiQuiud, it was pretty insane.
That was the point. That was like the greatest thing ever. And no, I'm sad now. They
But it
murdered
still has the
Garage.
rest of it. So if you do pick up a kill on a hero during the taunt, you do get it refreshed pretty much.
It's not the same, man.
LiQuiud can shed a tear for Garage there. Joanna is the final hero that got changed. Health and regen increase of 8 and 11% respectively, pretty large. And Falling Sword ultimate slow duration is buffed from 2.5 to 3 seconds. I still think you should take the shield. Level 1, Hold Your Ground, that increases the size of the shield and reduces the cooldown of Iron Skin. Now gives a shield bonus of 30%, up from 20%. And level 13 had 2 talents changed. Roar, which gives damage bonus for hitting 2 heroes with Q, has been increased from 125 to 150%. And Blessed Hammer damage has been increased by 5%. Joanna, I love her. Can I start playing her again? Since you're
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like these are all buffs. She's
Yeah,
still fine.
I'm
Those
gonna
are pretty
say
big
that
buffs.
those health buffs are like the last piece of the puzzle that Johanna needed to be pretty strong, in my opinion.
That's what I like to hear. I'm going to play some Joanna today in the after show games.
I mean,
thing.
she was in 6 matches this weekend and banned a 7th. She's absolutely strong, especially on Tomb of Spider Queen.
And she got a buff since.
And she got a buff. So
And we had one notable bug fix I want to point out. Rhaegar's lunge now works as expected. The range is no longer gimped. If you've played Rhaegar recently, wondering why you weren't lunging at heroes, it's because his attack range for his lunge was something like 1 or just a little bit above 1. But now it's actually properly done, so you can actually do those chased kills. So expect Rhaegar's win rate to go up slightly, I think, from that. Okay, like I said, we're going to skip Junkrat's first impressions. We'll leave that till next week. We don't have Mystic's Shakedown for this week as well. We'll skip that and talk about Mystic's next Shakedown next week too. So that means we're going to cap off the show here. A great 50th episode. Had a lot of fun, I think. So thanks everyone for listening to Nexus Trolls, a Heroes of the Storm podcast, which we stream live on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. So LiQuiud, as always, we'll start with you. Where can folks find you?
all right, so the best place to find me is on Twitter at LiQuiudGG, LiQiuDGG. Tweet whenever I'm about to do anything interesting, including when Daz and I go live this weekend on Friday when we do our date night with our wives.
I'm so
also,
nervous for that.
no, she'll be fine. Something else that I told Daz I was going to bring up now. If you're interested in being a part of the Trolls GG family, we're actually looking for a writer and a social media manager. So we're going to put some more information up on the website in the next few days. But if you want to talk to me about that now, go ahead and DM me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about those positions.
Looking forward to making our Twitter account a little bit more active. That being said, you can always follow us at TrollsGG for that account. But you also follow us on Twitter at the Nexus Trolls as well. So Mystic, where can people find you?
You can find me at Mystic Shroud on Twitter. So hit me up with some questions, maybe for, preferably Heroes of the Storm. Other questions are also okay, but no promises.
You had your first tweet battle this week with Bacon, so things are amping up in the Mystic Shroud Twitterverse. And how about you, Bahgz? Where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at new handle curveball at Bahgz HGC. It's a little simpler and simple is better, in my opinion. That's
so at Bahgz HGC. We're talking.
Yes. Heroes Global Championship at Bahgz HGC. I think keep it simple, stupid, and that's I live by it, and I needed to update my Twitter to reflect that. You can also watch me stream on twitch.tv/Bahgz. I would have just at Bahgz if I could, but someone stole it. So
someone stole Bahgz?
Yeah, and it's even spelled funny.
Douchebag.
How does that happen? Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's what their Twitter handle should be. So.
Yeah, I don't even understand how that person feels that way.
I have issues spelling. I have to look it up almost every time I spell it. I always mix up the H and the G too. So I gotta think about it. I'm impressed that someone else swiped it out from under you.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like if you look it up, it's like a person. It's like their personal account. Like I don't know. It's weird.
It's weird.
Okay, you let us know, and we'll get LiQuiud to DDoS the guy.
No, it's a woman, and she's protected. Her tweets are protected. She has a lot of tweets. She has a decent 300 followers.
Well there, guys. No witch hunting.
We're not witch hunting. I'm just it's weird. Like her name and Bahgz don't go together.
I'm pretty sure if every single listener of the Nexus Trolls tried to DDoS someone, we would make absolutely no dent in whatever we're trying to DDoS. I am not concerned, Mystic, about witch hunts. If you're looking for me, you can find me at DazHots. Thanks again to all our patron supporters over at patreon.com/trollsgg. If you're looking for a way to support the show and you like the show, you can do so there. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you happen to find your podcasts online. Visit our website at trolls.gg/thenexustrolls to watch this and past shows, along with past video streams which can be found on our YouTube channel. For announcements about the show and general Heroes of the Storm news, you can follow us on Twitter at @thenexustrolls. If you want to hang out with the Trolls community in-game, you can /join TrollsGG in-game or join our Discord channel, trolls.eg/discord. We're also setting up a new group in the new Battle.net beta launcher, which we'll have more information coming for that soon. And finally, if you need to get in touch with us, the best way is by email at thenexustrolls@trollsgg. Guys, it's been a great 50 episodes. Bahgz, thanks for coming on for our 50th. Everybody, have a great week.
Peace out.
Stage dive there.